Hello and welcome for another episode of Fekaba Vet Chat. My interviewee today is a friend and a colleague of mine from Zagreb in Croatia. She not only runs an emergency clinic, she also raises 4 children. And I know what I'm talking about because I'm one of 4 children, so my poor mother suffered the same fate. She's also a very active sportswoman. Then she is representing the Croatian Small Animal Veterinary Association. And on top of that, she seems to be able to have a good time and enjoy Croatia whenever sort of the remaining time is making it possible. So hello and welcome to Leas Kreszinger. Hi, Leas.
Hi, Wolfgang. Thank you very much for arranging this interview, vet chat with me. I will be very happy to have some kind of fun here, and I'm prepared for any kind of questions.
That's good. I just heard. I mean, you had a pretty rough night. So you had your first COVID vaccine, and you're still having a bit of a headache.
I always thought about myself as some kind of tough person, but COVID, it was not such a nice thing, and the shot as well, vaccination, it was as well, 24 hours of headache, which I don't like. So yeah, a night without sleeping. Yeah,
Okay.
It was not pleasant.
Well, night without sleeping doesn't seem to be so unusual for you. I mean, sort of remembering your work schedules at times, or how you manage sort of to get everything organized. So that was something I wanted to explore a little bit with you. I mean, you are, for a lot of my female colleagues, you are a role model because you somehow seem to manage all these things. So how you do that? I mean, let's talk first about your clinic. How long have you is your clinic now running? And also, what interests me is sort of how did you manage, especially over there through the last 12 months?
Well, work is very important to me, and it is an important part of my life. And a lot of energy I put in building something that I thought should be some kind of a role model in Croatia at the time. Of course, it wouldn't be possible without all the people around me that are either good friends or part of my family or part of the team of the clinic that I don't like to call mine. It's because we all together make it functional and good. So it's you know you you were a private practitioner, and you know how much does it mean. It's like your second family. You spend there every day, and people that work with you, sometimes they see your bad sides and good sides, but they are like another family for you, and you share your lot of your time and energy and sad and good moods with them. And at the end, it's a place where every day you have to wake up and go there and do your job in a best way. So I was always thinking that if I would work, I never worked for anyone else in my life. I was always, yeah, from the first day I was my boss. So
Okay.
I always wanted to think that, you know, I wouldn't like to go to work somewhere where I would feel bad under pressure that my boss is giving to me, and that I'm restricted from the first day for the vacation. What can I do, what I cannot do. So I didn't want to make a place where people would feel bad because they have to go there every day. So that was the first thing I was thinking about, how to make the place good for people that are there, and then for the clients. So it's
How,
the same
if
thing
I
with
if
me.
I may just butt in, that was something I didn't
I'm
know
not
that.
businessman. That's my
No,
problem.
no. Well, but so after university, you started right away opening your own practice then, or
Well,
yeah.
I was volunteering in a different clinics,
Hmm.
and I wanted to do physical therapy because that was the field that was not so well developed, and we didn't know so much about physical therapy, and there was a need, and I couldn't open the place only for physical therapy. It was not possible. it, if you wanted to do any veterinary practice, it was only possible to do it in terms of veterinary practice with all, what does it mean? So with everything inside. And I wanted to find some kind of hole in the system, what to do, but uh, I couldn't, I didn't know how. So, okay, I said I will open one small practice, and it will be, in purpose for physical therapy. So two colleagues were working in practice, and two of us were doing physical therapy. But it's very how would I say? It depends on.
Yeah.
I started to receive, every dog was for physical therapy. What every problem was physical therapy. The dog cannot stand on a hind limbs, it's physical therapy. But yeah, it started to happen that those are orthopedic problems, neurology problems, system, it's internal medicine problem, it's hormone problem, it's a prostatic tumor problem. It's not always like something that you have to do physical therapy. So then I had to start to do my own diagnostics, because you cannot, limping dog, yeah, he has elbow dysplasia, and then he goes for a month for physical therapy, and you see that the dog is not getting better, and you repeat the x-ray and you see osteosarcoma. So I couldn't depend on other, and then we started to do everything by ourselves, and then that's it. I wanted to do physical therapy, and now I ended like something
Up doing everything.
completely else, and that was the reason why I started. And I didn't thought that in 5, 6, 7, 8 years we will have the one of the biggest practices, like referral one. Now we receive 70% of clients are referred clients. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
24/7.
Mm. 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 How many
Yeah,
vets are working at your clinic?
at the moment we have 5 vets, 5 technicians, and 2 people that are working as well. So administrative work. So 12 people.
Mm. So I mean, how did you cope now through the COVID pandemic? Sort of has that obviously, I mean, it must have impacted your business as well quite a bit. But how did that sort of go in Croatia over the last 12 months?
I I'm too positive person in my life, so maybe I'm not right person to ask, because first of all I was very happy that we were allowed to work, so we were not restricted. We were one that were allowed to even transpass through from one city to another, because we were vets, and with vet ID, you were allowed to travel anywhere you wanted. We could work if we wanted to work, but if you want to shorten your working time, it was allowed as well. So you were, it's amazing, and I was very happy and very proud. On the other hand, I asked myself at certain point, uh, and my employees, are you afraid? Do you think that we should work in a different way? Are you afraid for your people, for your parents and grandparents that you live at home? If any of you feel bad and don't want to come to work, please tell me without any, you know, like,
Consequences, yeah.
I won't be, it's not something that you should be ashamed or afraid. And then I realized that maybe some colleagues in Croatia are forced to work and don't have this possibility to say to their boss, look, I have at home older people and kids, and I'm afraid, and so on. I was so lucky that guys in my clinic, they said, no, we don't have any problem. It's okay. We will come to work, and that's it. So I our practice was doing fine. We had more work than before because other practices were referring their patients to us. And I didn't feel, and the best part was that we left the owners outside the clinic and just took the pets. And it was so nice.
That
It's
is
less.
that is something a lot of colleagues have said that to me actually. So then just working with the patient together with the nurse and
It's
without the
amazing.
that,
We
well, I
did
think
we did extra. We worked less and did more job. We had bigger number of patients, but we were working less. I worked like 6 hours. No, it was like five and a half hours, and other usually I work 8 hours. And we were not mixing, so we split five
yeah,
morning with the time
an
in
A
between.
team and B team, yeah.
Yes, and everything was working. We spared so much energy that we didn't have to spend on talking to the owners. And I
It's
don't
just
have a problem to say that to the owners.
but what I felt was it takes just so much time because if you have to get the patient in from the owner outside, and then you have to find out in what car is the owner sitting. I mean, some surgeries do that quite well. They already write a red Volvo and a blue Ford or something like that, and that's speeding things up. But then the clients are sometimes they've taken the dog for a walk, so they are gone.
Yeah, and then
They have to
not
wait.
coming back.
Then
They
yeah,
were
and
pissing
then
around our clinic. They were going around the clinic and take the piss, the
yeah,
owners,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because they
yeah,
had to wait. So I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, what they're doing here? They're pissing around the clinic. And the toilet was open.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, it's
yeah.
open.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Well. In any case, if I felt that it was slowing things down, but admittedly, sort of, if you have good nursing teams, sort of, then yes, you can really do the examination and the treatment very efficiently. It's just sort of this running forwards and backwards, sort of reporting back to the clients. First, sort of get the anamnesis, the clinical history, then you come in, examine the animal, then you go out again, report back what you found, what you are planning to do, then you go in again, you do what you have to do, then you have to bring the animal out again. You see, this is all I felt, this was all taking time, but you seem to have managed that much better than I. So
Well, we let them come in because of the big waiting room, and
okay.
just, you know,
So you can
put
space them out.
everything in a computer and took the animal, and at the end, one person can come inside because it's like 80 square meters of waiting room, and one person inside, it's not a problem. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
Mm.
We, but it was easier, much, much easier.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. So, and then sort of uh, one big well point in your life is also, I mean, as I know, sort of physical fitness. So, how do you manage to then to combine sort of your workouts sort of with your work? Because I know you are working many hours sort of every day, and how do you manage to fit then the workouts in?
You know what? So many people ask me this question about balancing life, work, love, um, you know, fun, everything. And I really don't know why other people cannot do that. You can do that. I know you. You are as well, one
Yeah,
person that,
but
and you know
but in
how
my
much energy sport gives you. How much do you, when you try to do sports and that feeling after that you have, it's something that gives you energy for during the day. And I really think, uh, not that I think, I I can say, I don't I can say that I may influenced on many people with uh, this life habits, uh, and I'm very happy about it because I see that, and they said to me that it makes so much easier some certain parts of their life. I don't know how to say that, maybe in the best way, but that is, first, you always are crossing some kind of border. You are trying to beat yourself to not to, how I say it, to be a better, uh, it's not easy for to say to me in English, maybe because it's not my language. But you, when you feel that you are getting stronger, then it's easier for you to do certain things in your life.
things, yeah. I also often sort of with sort of my, I don't know if to try to for me to get exercise in. I mean the way I always manage is I was cutting back on sleep. That is not good. So sort of a combination of not sleeping too much and then sort of drinking a fair amount of coffee. I think that gives you a few extra hours every day. So I did that for a long time, and I still can do that. I'm very lucky with that. But
I'm not
nevertheless,
coffee drinker, so it's
yeah.
like now I
But
sleep more.
yeah, but with sport, I often felt the best sort of time to exercise is when you don't want to exercise. When you really think, oh God, I'm too tired for it. I don't want to have a workout or something like that. And if you then manage to pull yourself up and then to just do it, and then I mean, don't set out and say, okay, I do a really hard session now. That is really a killer. But just start off gentle and say, okay, fine. I just go for a 30-minute run or just a gentle workout on the treadmill or something like that. And I often find once you are in it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, your
Yeah,
body is sort of
yeah,
getting the
exactly.
first endorphin sort of kick and then says, actually, no, why not? Let's keep going. It's sort of exercise. And then sometimes I had some really good workouts and yeah,
Yeah,
then if that is in the middle of the day or in the evening, sort of, I feel better. And well, you get a second boost of energy sometimes. Or what I sometimes did, I worked out, had a shower, and then went to bed. And you bet I was sleeping damn well, so it was quite
yeah.
good. Mm. But
I
it is,
really think that it's something where you are trying to be better you, and like you said, it's
mm,
not easy for me. It was not easy to move it from afternoon. Every day after my work I went for a workout,
yeah,
but I was always late.
mm,
On the other hand, it was something, it was like 5:30. And I said, that is the only way I will go from work and will not stay longer if I give to myself that at 5:30 I have to be at workout.
okay. Mm,
But now, after 2 years, I completely, it took a while to put it in 7 in the morning.
okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
it's much better for me, but I learned how to go away from my work, because now I don't stay until 8 or 9, because for 2 or 3 years I was going from work and nothing happened. The world didn't fall apart. So now I can go from work, but I go home. I go cooking and I go with my dogs and with kids and so on. But I leave workout for 7 in the morning. And it was
Mm,
not easy. Really, it was not easy for me to get earlier. I was thinking, why the hell I need this? To
mm,
get up before 6 o'clock to make a breakfast for kids and everything for work and take the bag and then go. But then now I wouldn't change it. It's excellent. Uh,
mm.
yeah, habit.
Yeah,
It's a good thing.
that's
Any kind
something
of activity is
I'm always envious when people can do that because I'm not a morning person. So I occasionally, if it's well, usually, and my wife hates it. It's in the holidays that I then sort of, if we are somewhere where it's nice and warm and light, or so, then I'm up at 6 o'clock and then I go running or something like that. But that is really unusual. It's more the other way around, that I do sessions in the evening, and and that helps me to distress quite a bit, and I can fit that in. But in the morning, sort of so kudos to you that you have the discipline. So, but you said it was a process. It was not in
it was a
instant.
process because I was not a morning person as well, and I thought that it's not possible. But that's that some kind of mental strength that you have to make and try, and then you do it. And I like to say that these things like outdoor sports, like walking around and so on, it's not like that. Sport for me is something where you almost throw up, and then that's it. You know, riding a bike and these extreme sports are interesting to me, and somewhere where you have to pass that border where you think it's not possible. That's sport for me, and maybe that's the difference between, like
Well, there would
people
be the
that
difference between us as well. So I mean, thankfully, I can motivate myself, and if I think, okay, let's put the hammer down and do a hard session, then I do a hard session. I don't need any encouragement for that. But sometimes I don't feel like it, and I also think sort of I sort of sport is can be very varied. So I also think, for example, the hiking sort of I do. If you hike for 6 or 8 hours through the mountains with a backpack, I put that down as a training session. I consider that as a training session. So but and that's also one of the ways I can motivate myself, because then if I would go into every workout session and say, okay, I
but
really
sometimes you do workout session. I like hiking as well, and everything that is related to outdoor. But if someone asks me, how do you keep yourself in a good shape in matters of, I don't know,
Mm,
physical look of the body, You cannot do that if you walk
Yeah.
around the lake. It's not like
Mm.
that. So it's different. It's different thing.
Although I think you often find that people who have who are it's a chicken and egg thing, but people who uh,
It's
are
combined.
physically quite no, no, but people who are physically quite strong or quite fit, you often find that they approach. They are also just more mobile, and that again sort of keeps them fit. So these are people they if they I don't know if somebody is at the door for example they it doesn't take them half an hour sort of to get up from the sofa to walk over somewhere or so
Yeah, of course.
getting in, getting out somewhere, getting up, or for example, a physiotherapy with a dog, for example, they make themselves a physical effort rather than some, say, yeah, okay, let's do this or that or so. They they, they work their body the whole day. And I often felt sort of a small animal practice, okay, it's not the same sort of demanding, physically demanding as large animal practice, but not every large dog needs to go on the consulting room table. Where is the problem here? Sort of to going down on the floor level, sort of more with a dog, for example, and then bend yourself, or stretch while you are doing that. Also, so I always consider so my consultations a little bit of a mini workout. Obviously, that was not
I
one
have to
particular.
say that my technicians, they're all younger than me. They are near 30. So I was talking with them and I learned them, and they are all now in some kind of sport.
Yeah.
But how to take the dog and put him on the table and off the table.
Mm.
Because when you see your clients how they're doing it, I say always, please don't. I will do it. No matter that for them, I don't know, I'm a doctor and something like that, because they will leave their spine in my exam room. So I rather do it for my technicians. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a mini workout every day. 10 dogs. It's
Well, yeah, and I mean, you also know how to lift. So how to what to do and what not to do, and hopefully your team does as well. That you really say, wait a moment,
yeah,
sort of, you are lifting wrong, and if you continue lifting with a boat back, sort of in and out of the cage again and again and again, it's not good. Use your legs, sort of, and or have a second person on top of that, and don't bend like this and like that. It makes a huge difference.
I would really, if I could recommend to do something in a primary school, that would be certain things related to movement of the body,
Yeah.
which is how to lift and how to make a squat. And,
Mm,
it would make so much uh,
mm,
good for people if they learn it in early lifetime.
mm.
Let's do
So
that.
we were talking about veterinary medicine and sports. So how do you manage to then also fit all your kids sort of into that? So you mentioned sort of you, especially when they were little, sort of you had some support through friends and family,
No one,
but
yeah, no one said to you during your life how is it to be a parent. No one teaches you that, and sometimes you don't have a role model because you don't look around and you don't see how people are doing. You don't think about it, and then it happens to you. And my father told me, well, it's like a puppy. If it's fed and if it's on dry, it's okay. And my parents were like, huh, I cannot say that they did something wrong.
No.
They did a pretty good thing with me and my sister, but from perspective now, I can see that we were really independent. And so when he said that to me, that was his um, his um, his opinion and how he sees it, and he said that to me. And at that time, for me, it was like, okay, it makes sense. All these creatures that we have in veterinary practice and in the animal world, they have that mom, and it must be easy. Don't make it complicated. And that's what I did with my kids. So I I I try to be very simple, and maybe it's Spartanic way of of
Well, then,
it's
you, you,
well, I was not carrying them around when because first night when they were crying, I was like, if I now carry them, then they will cry. So I didn't carry, and
mm,
they didn't cry anymore.
mm,
Only a little when they were hungry or needed to be diapers to be changed. And that's it. And it was for 15, 20 minutes. And then they went to sleep. They try not, they try to cry, but then I didn't react. So I didn't have grandma and grandpa really like in maybe in some uh,
other families,
like my grandmother was. So I didn't have anyone to say if it was good or bad. For me, it was the only way, because you know I was thinking I want to sleep as well during the night. So the second, and the kid was always going with us everywhere we went, with the car in the travel, whatever. And then the second kid came, and it is almost the same when you have one and two. So then, yeah, third came, and the fourth
yeah.
one came,
Three and four.
and it and it was all in. It's in five. So it's in 6 years.
Yeah.
So during 6 years, four children. And what happens basically, you have to work. They're always with you. They went to kindergarten, so one came, then the fresh one came, one went to kindergarten. Always, one was always with me. So I don't know how it's possible, but I think that female person is somehow have this strength inside, that it's a drive in your head. You just have to do it. If someone would give me it now, I would say, Jesus, it's not
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
Mm,
You cannot do that like when you're older, maybe.
mm.
Maybe one is okay, but I couldn't do it now. I wouldn't have nerves. I don't know how to do it. Really.
Well, you say that, but then I think as every as you are all the body and the mind adjust to a lot of things, and if the demand would be thrown at you suddenly, and you would have to do this, I mean, for whatever sort of reason, you
There are
might be
women that have
surprised
10
actually.
children. Some there are women that have 10 children. In the past, they had really many children. So it's manageable. It depends on your age, probably, and
I also think sort
and
of with children of veterinary families, sort of a lot of outsiders would say, "Oh, how lovely! Your mum or your dad is a vet, so lucky you," or so. But I think they have a tough old life because sort of traditionally it was in the same way as with the farms. It was quite often that the kids were hauled in and already at a fairly early age. oh, can you answer the phone? Or can you hold on to this animal here? Or
Yeah.
can you walk this dog? Or something like that. So they they were sort of part of the team, usually sort of unpaid. And then, yeah, it's a sort of independence, which in today's society is maybe somewhat lagging. So that there are two possibilities children have. One thing is that they sit in front of a screen and the parents know, okay, they sit in front of the screen, that's where they are. Or the rest of the time is they are, especially here in the UK, I find it very, very strongly, sort of they are under some sort of supervised activity or pre-arranged activity. So it has to go really from one class to the next to the next, and whatever they do in their free time is basically scheduled for them and sort of all the time under parents' control. That the kids just go outside and have to decide what they want to do with themselves and sort of with their friends, but without a previous plan. This is becoming less and less and less and less. And I think that is a big, big shame. And I think something like this is really important to build confidence and a personality later in life. And I think it's no great harm if there is a fair amount of independence from a very, very early age on.
That's what I say. No one learns you, no one teaches you how to be a good parent. And a certain part of my parenthood, I thought that I was really bad parent because I didn't spend time with my kids like I heard it should be. You have to write the homework with them, you have to read with them, you have to be creative with them. So many things that I should have done with them, I didn't do. It was completely different lifestyle. They were with each other, they were helping each other, they teach, they were learn from each other. They saw how to help each other, and they were on their own, but I was with them behind the scene.
Mm,
And now now when they're older, so the oldest one is 18, they're
mm,
completely independent,
mm,
in terms that, if you want to go and how do you say, for driving license.
mm,
So the eldest son, he found himself where, when he did everything, exams, everything
yeah.
on his own.
Mm,
And if I speak with other parents, they, like they have to do everything. You don't have to do.
mm, mm,
And whenever they organize themselves to go to states, ye- last year in February before COVID. So they were there for 3 weeks. Uh, they travel around. They organize their lives, and I'm very happy now. And I don't think that they will said to me one day that I'm guilty of something, but I am aware that I was not mother of the year every year. I was not maybe there when I should have been in certain moments, but now maybe they're a little bit tougher.
yeah, 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 well, so just to finish it off, how have you planned your summer now? Any chance for you to travel, or will it be a Croatian summer? How does it generally look now with people in Croatia and in the
So,
surrounding sort
like you already mentioned, I'm working some other things uh, beside my everyday work, which is Fekava, something
of?
for Fekava, something for WSAVA,
Mm,
something for our association. And it is a really less job than until 2 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, because of COVID. But there is something else that I wanted to do, and I did it last year for the first time, and this year I hope it will be again possible. Uh, and it's completely different. It doesn't have anything with veterinary world,
Mhm.
and it's support to gay community in Croatia. So I really have a lot of people that are from gay community in Croatia.
Mhm. Mhm.
We wanted to do some kind of festival. So last
Mhm.
year during COVID in July, end of July, we did a weekend, and it was a really good, let's say, afternoon sunset party, one on a boat and one on an island in Rovinj. And this year, we hope that we will do it as well at
Mhm.
the last weekend of July. So we are planning at the moment this. And related to travel, yes, I hope I will travel, but at the moment I don't know where because of the we cannot plan anything. I wanted to go to Israel, but they are closed still, uh,
Mhm.
and probably until the August it will be like that.
Mhm.
So no like stiff plan now,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
yeah, that's something that
Well, at least sort of living in Croatia, you have the advantage that, I mean, you have everything. Sort of, I mean, in the summer, sort of people from my part of the world, they would love to be able to go to Croatia for summer holidays. If you don't like it so warm, I mean, sort of the mountains and also Slovenia is just around the corner. So
last
uh,
weekend last
it
weekend I was sailing. I went sailing for 4 days. It was beautiful. And next weekend I hope I will go climbing, hiking on Velebit. So
yeah,
it's possible. It's
yeah,
possible
yeah,
to organize
yeah.
your time.
Well, and the important thing is do it now. Do it now. Do it while you can. And yeah, well, sort of don't put life at all on hold, even if sort of the world around you says sort of do. I mean, the thing is, when yes, if we are told not to travel, then we have to see what we can do. But at once we are allowed to do these things, or with it, especially sort of with the hiking, for example, also with the sailing. This is, I mean, it's sort of sport you can hardly think about more COVID conform sport. If you are out in the fresh air, you are not sort of in a confined room, rebreathing the air of other people. So it's
Excuses, excuses, excuses. You know how it goes. Always excuses. If you want to do something, you will do it.
do it exactly. Good, Leah. Thank you very much for this great interview. If anyone would like to comment on the interview or has any suggestions for future episodes of Fikava Vet Chat, please email us on vetchat@fikava.org. I hope you have a nice day and a nice evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for another episode of Fikava Vet Chat soon. Take care.
Bye.